Hi guys, it's Alice and Corey. So today we're going to talk about how to stay in love no matter what, which will help if you are wanting to be in love and single or in the most amazing relationship, right? It's going to help no matter what. Or if you want to get into a relationship, or if you're already in one and you want to just have this feeling all the time or be in the state of in love. Okay. I guess when I'm sharing these things, I'd rather just say this is the way that I was able to do this, right? And it's the way that I was able to stay in the same feeling state, whether I'm in a relationship or whether I'm not in a relationship. And the great thing about this is that if you are in this state, it'll be really easy to attract anyone you want. And it's going to make your single life really great too. I'll just start right in with it. When I had a lot of counseling, right? I went through a lot of counseling. I had some counselors that I liked a lot, and then I had some counselors that I didn't really like at all. But throughout my journey, I discovered something called parts work, and you can look this up, or it's also under IFS, Internal Family Systems. And what it really is, and I'll just give you the breakdown of it. And what it really is just simply giving attention to the parts of yourself that were sort of blocked off by you or separated from you, if that makes sense. So if you grew up in any kind of environment at all, even if it wasn't abusive, you still have bits and pieces of you that were sort of disconnected from you along the way. Okay, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. So there were these little bits and pieces of you that were sort of not integrated, right? Like sort of that you sort of kind of, segmented yourself away from growing up, or especially if there was actual, like real, big T trauma or anything like that. But even if you weren't in a situation that caused a lot of trauma, you would have had little parts of you. For example, in a simple case, if you're asking for attention from, let's say, your mom one time or your dad, and they just weren't available for you when you were sad, or they told you to go in your room or don't come out here with that attitude when really you were just sad, right? And you sort of compartmentalize, like, oh, this part of me is probably not that great, right? Like, oh, I can't really be sad, or else I'm not really accepted, right? If that makes sense. It's like these little things when we're growing up are ways to sort of like the ways we didn't accept ourselves, or we were taught not to accept ourselves. So basically this process that I have taken myself through that has allowed me to be in this feeling state of being in love all the time, like no matter whether I'm in a relationship or not, is simply to acknowledge these pieces and parts that come up just regularly every day, or not every day, but maybe weekly, or not even weekly. Maybe it's like monthly, or maybe it's just randomly once in a while where these things will come up. And it's important to just acknowledge that, okay, I'm not feeling that good, and sort of it's almost as though you're doing a reintegration process and with yourself, right? And instead of, we're taught to like take a pill for something, or, not feel this way, or put a band-aid on it really quick, right? If you're stressed, you just drink a drink, or, have an alcoholic drink, or take an Advil or whatever. We're always taught to like fix things. And it's more of like an integration process, if that makes sense. So if you're feeling a certain way, it's more just giving yourself the attention you would have needed and reincorporating that part of yourself into the whole of you, right? And so this kind of work, and it shouldn't be really work. And what I wanted to say too is healing work doesn't have to be this deep, dark, what was I going to say? Just this delirium of information where you're just trying to trudge, I was going to say drudgery. It doesn't have to be this drudgery and all these, just a lot of work, right? It doesn't have to be like that. It can be more fun. It can be almost like nurturing work, right? And that's the way I look at it. I don't look at it as hard work. I look at it as this is nurturing, and who doesn't want nurturing, right? And this is really the way, or one of the ways, that you can be in love all the time, right? You don't need to wait for a relationship, and it will make you more attractive if you do want a relationship, right? But you can be in love, in a state of in love all the time, because you're reintegrating these parts of you that were lost along the way, that were just ignored or not given attention, and you're putting them all back in, acknowledging them, and then through that process learning to just, or not even learning, but just having a greater love for yourself, right? It's like a holistic love. It's a love that builds over time, and it's a love that you can cultivate within you. And it doesn't have, obviously you can cultivate everything within you. You really, in order to be not needy, right, which we want to be sort of self-sufficient in this process so that we're not needy, because that's sort of the definition of being attached, right? We want to be not needy so that we can easily attract, right? So we can just be in a state of allowance and being free flowing, right? And so it really puts us in that state of not needing things from other people, because we just can give it to ourselves. We reintegrate these little bits and pieces, and then we end up so whole and so in love and so sort of, so integrated that we are no longer searching for like someone to integrate us, if that makes sense. I hope this is making sense to you, but these are all the little bits and pieces I've learned along the way, and I just kind of put it together in a simple way for you guys to sort of understand it. If it appeals to you to do this, I think it's a great thing to do, and it doesn't take long. It's just simply noticing these little bits and pieces of you that need to be acknowledged, and not automatically turning your cheek on yourself, right? Like, and we do this a lot, like all the time. This is what our modern day society teaches us to do. It like teaches us to turn our cheek on ourselves, like take a pill or drink alcohol or distract yourself in some way, like go work out or something, when you really just need to give the bits and pieces of yourself that come up to be loved, to be healed, but really to just be acknowledged. It's just really acknowledging yourself. And once you start doing this, it doesn't take long. It's an easy thing to do. Once you start doing this, you will start to feel a more holistic love, and you'll feel the feeling of in love all the time. But I wanted to tell you also that doing this work, or I don't really want to call it work, but doing this nurturing, and it's part of self-love, and I feel like it's part of self-concept as well, right? It's just like having a holistic approach for yourself or towards yourself, and allowing yourself to reintegrate will really give you a sense of peace and harmony within yourself. And it sounds so simple, right? This sort of giving yourself attention, but we in this society have taken, it's like with social media or something, there's all these quick fixes. And when we're not giving ourselves the attention, we are not integrated, right? We're not reintegrating these pieces of ourselves that were sort of pieces and parts of ourselves that were parted off from the main self, right? And that's kind of what they mean by parts work, right? So it's and if you look it up, you can get an idea of this stuff too, and or IFS, which stands for internal family system. So if you wanted to look this up, they might be doing it more complicated, but this is a simple way of explaining it. So it's really just about giving yourself the attention you would have needed in these little areas that come up, and not immediately distracting yourself, which in this day and age is quite difficult, because we do have a lot of distractions at our fingertips. We have shows to watch, we have people to call, we can just immediately distract from these uncomfortable feelings sometimes. But it's really about integrating these uncomfortable feelings and sitting with them, and not forcing yourself to just be rid of them immediately, right? Just allowing yourself to process them and sitting with yourself and just having a reintegration moment. And it can be really valuable. And I know it's changed the way I am with myself. It's changed my attitude towards myself. It's changed my way of being towards myself, which in turn has given me this in love, more holistic type of love for myself and just in general all the time. So I hope this explained it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Ask me whatever, you know. I was also going to try to do the book list for you guys, because I know a lot of you, or a few of you did ask for that. I just want to give you a couple authors like right off the bat. Anything by Wayne Dyer, anything by Louise Hay, anything by Osho. He's a little bit out there, but I still like to read kind of weirder things so that I can, like, you know, sort things out for myself and sort of take what resonates. But and then also anything by Neville. And those are some things to get you started, but I will be giving you like a full list of books that I've read, because a couple of you did ask for that. So anyway, I hope this really helped you guys. I hope this gives you, you know, a way of integrating and reintegrating and really loving yourself more, because it can help in every area of your life, and it will make you more attractive too. If you want to be single and amazing and in love, or if you want to be in a relationship too, or if you want to attract a few different people and choose from them, right? It'll make you very attractive if you have this sort of love that you are giving yourself, and this sort of well-rounded love that you have for yourself. So anyway, I love you guys. I will see you next time. If you love this video, please thumbs it up. If you love Neville, transformation, my unique perspective and changing your life, stick around. I'd love to have you. Bye guys.